Did you know a 2018 study showed half of prenatal vitamins tested had unacceptable levels of heavy metals? I'm Kat, mother of 3 and founder of Ritual. When I was 4 months pregnant, I couldn't find a prenatal I could trust, so I created my own. Ours is made traceable, third-party tested for heavy metals, and recently earned the Purity Award from the Clean Label Project. But don't just take my word for it. Get 25% off at ritual.com/podcast.
What's up, Holo Cult? It's Wednesday. Every other Wednesday. You know what that means. We are here, and this is the live shift. Wow, the night shift.
It's the live shift.
Night shift. Trying my best. Hope everybody's doing good. Getting through this work week. Yeah. Welcome back. Welcome back. Got to get hydrated here.
It's a must.
That it is. Hope everybody's doing well. Been a wild couple of weeks, tell you that.
That it has.
But Twiz says we sound different. Both of us or one of us?
I don't know.
I may have been replaced by a government clone. Not to step on Cryptids of the Corn's whole spiel, but just me.
Oh, just you. You're the only one that needs to
crank my mic up a little bit then.
You're the only one that has been replaced. So that sucks.
Yeah. Is that any better?
Now.
I turned my mic up. I've almost got her maxed out. She's almost ripping.
I don't know why I would do that.
We're trying our best. But yeah, what's good, everyone? We got 28 people in here. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell, all that good stuff.
Oh, 9.
All that YouTube jargon. I want to take a minute. Shout out Big Homie Merc. He just hit 100,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel.
Which is crazy.
That is massive. That is crazy.
It is crazy.
Everybody be sure to pop over there and congratulate him, because that's wild.
It's a big achievement.
Oh, yeah. Trying to do anything, make any headway on this platform is like pulling teeth.
It's crazy. I also want to give a shout out to Route 40 Rust for the dope YouTube comment. Kind of appropriate timing, and it really struck home. Kind of making us get a little refocused here. Trying to make some moves. But it's much appreciated to hear the kind words and consideration for us.
Yeah, I read that too. It was.
It was awesome.
We're glad we can shine a little light in a dark world. Mitty says, I was cracking up about your number one status in Malawi. I said Malawi, and I think it's pronounced Malawi. It says I'm from the area, and it was an awesome surprise. It was an awesome surprise. So I just want to shout out to whoever's listening in Malawi. Yeah, crazy.
It's appreciated.
It's appreciated.
It's appreciated. Because the pictures make it look like there's no internet there.
Yeah.
It's pretty, but it makes it look like there's no
I
internet.
was sitting at work and I was even like, I was looking up the language that's primarily used there, and I'm like, man, what if I could learn just to be able to say hi? And then I started like watching some YouTube videos, and it's if I would have put my mind to it, I probably could have done it, but I'm like, man, I'm out of my wheelhouse here. So, who else we got in here? Chris, welcome to your first live. Glad to have you here. Bryce, what's up? Twiz, we got some regulars in here. Good to see JJ in here. It was funny. We just recorded the listener experience that is going to drop Thursday.
Yeah, tomorrow.
And, tomorrow. Wow. What is time? But soup. And JJ, you're going to want to tune into that because it has been sitting in our listener experience file for a while. And they go over some things that you probably want to hear. So this...
Yeah, it's interesting. And I name drop.
Yeah, this was probably sent pre some of the experiences that you have had that we have talked about as of semi-recently. So this probably happened before that. And there's some parallels there you're going to want to look at.
Yeah. For sure. Everybody in the chat is pretty on the same page with time isn't real.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Just something to keep us in line.
And I agree. Time isn't real. I'm excited for the next series I got to fucking hit because it's got some wild stories in it. I went hard writing last night on it, and man, there's been some stuff in there that I have not heard, and I don't think you have. And I'm pretty sure you're gonna go, what the fuck?
I am known to say that.
Because I was trying to, like I said, trying to condense these large areas. And I'm kind of skimming over some of it, and I get to a part that I think is not so cool. Because I'm like, all right, whatever. And I'll tell you what it is, but I won't get into details.
Just throw a teaser out there.
Yeah, I have. I want to talk about it so bad, but I can't. Because we haven't even recorded this yet. But it's something known as psychic surgery. All right. It is not what you think it is. At all.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. It is nuts.
I am here for it.
And it completely ties into the whole thing, like with the seance and all that stuff. So it's just absolutely bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. But it's so weird because we're recording the first episode of that, right? And you show me that video that is like direct correlation to what I'm writing about. And then RU sends me a video on Instagram that is also a correlation to that episode. So it just seems like this is becoming more and more relevant the further and further I get into it.
I know I said it multiple times in the episode that's going to drop, but I don't feel like synchronicities and coincidence exist anymore. I feel it is directly the phenomena acknowledging the phenomena. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm about to start researching astral projection and meditation and start trying to teach Patreon how to do it.
I'm here for it.
That's what I'm thinking about doing.
I'm here for it.
I've seriously been considering it. Just start trying to absorb that information and see where it leads.
Yeah, I'm here for that. I do have a Patreon episode in the bank. I have a bunch more Michelin Man encounters that I had put off for the episode, but they didn't make the episode, so I go in there and talk about that. Some of them are, man, I can't even remember them, but I remember like making a mental note and a vocal note saying, I wish Kyle was here to hear this because it's bonkers. But I'll probably be dropping that.
It's hard.
I don't know when I'll drop that. Maybe Friday. I got it recorded. I just got to pop it in there.
It is a lot different recording by yourself versus with.
Bear with me, first off, everybody, and on Patreon, because Kyle has our recording down to a science, right? Like he has presets for my vocals, presets for his vocals. I don't have any of that shit. So I just go in there. I'm like, tweak. Yeah, that sounds good. Run it. So if it's terrible, I apologize.
I could probably airdrop you the presets and then show you how to use them. It's not hard.
I just went and trying to get like it is doing it by yourself is different. Sitting there talking,
Yeah.
Because I'll get to a point, I'm like, man, that's fucked up, and I'm just waiting. I'm like, chime in, Kyle. Take it over. Chime in. Nobody's there.
I ain't here.
Yeah, I'll drop that this week. It's already recorded, ready to go. I just got to put it in there. I just didn't want to overload everybody since the episodes ad-free drop there. I didn't want it to get all like lost in the mix. But yeah, I had a bunch of stuff since the last night shift that I marked it somewhere, but I can't remember where I put it. So bear with me.
That's not helpful.
No.
A bunch of screen share stuff.
Yeah.
Or just stuff in general.
Just stuff in general.
Because right now the market is being flooded with conspiracy theories.
Oh yeah. Well, this is kind of a conspiracy theory. I'll give you a synopsis.
I'm good with that.
Right. So I ran across it. It was sometime last week that there was this woman who was a dedicated Bigfoot researcher, Bigfoot hunter, like 100%, 10 toes down, went as far as to even sue the state of California to produce documents that Bigfoot exist. Like she went head on.
That's fair.
Yeah. Anyway, she was found.
I assume she probably didn't win.
Here we. I found a thing here. It says Bigfoot hunter who dedicated her life to proving the creature existed is found dead. Bigfoot, quote unquote, soldier who dedicated her life to proving the existence of the large mythical creature has died at age 51. Claudia Ackley was found dead at her Tennessee home over the weekend. According to her partner, Ed Brown, the cause of death is not determined, but is expected to be a heart attack. Miss Ackley, who's survived by her two daughters, claimed to have seen Bigfoots hundreds of times. And in 2018, she sued California Park Service to prove Bigfoot's existence after it claimed that what she had seen during her hike was a bear. The incident connected to the lawsuit involved her walking with her daughters when she claimed to see an alpha male Sasquatch with her daughter, capturing the incident on video. I swear to God, all my life we ran into a Sasquatch, she said. In the footage, which was reviewed by an official California Department of Fish and Wildlife, who concluded that what the family saw was merely a bear. My daughters and I have seen bears. We are not scared by bears, she said. The lawsuit was dismissed a month after it was filed. She said the sighting changed her life, and her partner said she had a big heart and was always trying to protect people looking into the beast's existence. The way that it was put forward in the article almost made it sound like her death was suspicious.
Right.
Which, I mean, there's no cause of death as of the writing of that article, which was July 6th, but they suspect a heart attack. But it's not that far-fetched to think if somebody's making that big of waves in the Bigfoot community, you know, where do they draw the line as to who they decide to hush up? You know, does that bleed over into the world of cryptids?
Okay, so I'm not dismissing that. However, I do personally feel like it would be excessive to put somebody down for trying to prove Bigfoot exists. because I feel like it would be really, 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 really easy for the government to come out and look into it and then be like, oh yeah, it's just a woodland
Just
ape.
a bear.
You know what I'm saying? But I feel like if they gave it the pretext of like, this is a flesh and blood animal that is out there, it's very elusive, very hard to come by, I feel like that would just explain it. You know, most people would probably just accept that and go, oh, okay, cool. So they exist. They're out here. They're really elusive. They usually stay away from us. Cool.
Yeah.
It'd be like the giant squid, right?
Yeah.
But if you went the other direction, that's where I see it causing problems. If you're trying to prove that, or can prove that it's got woo-woo to it, then we have a different conversation on our hands.
Yeah, I do.
In my opinion.
I do feel that. I feel like they could probably lull a lot of it away if they wanted to, by just being a little ahead of the curve, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else I had. That was the main one.
Did that video ever get posted anywhere? Or
let me look again. There was a video tied to this encounter, but I don't know.
Because I would be interested in seeing it to see how we all felt about it.
I don't know if they posted the same one up that was actually hers. So
I guess it would be easy to just post a video of a bear and be like, yeah, this is what she sent.
Yeah. I don't think this is the one that she took. No. This is they just tagged a recent Bigfoot video to this. So because that gets a lot of clicks.
I haven't heard Bigfoot news in a while.
No, I thought it was interesting, especially since it had that little conspiracy twist, the way they kind of spun it like, oh, she died mysteriously.
I was waiting for like a Max Spears spinoff.
They found her in a UFO.
No, I was thinking more of like the black goo everywhere.
Yeah.
Which I do want to look into.
I got a starter episode going, but my ADD refused me from finishing it. Maybe I'll get back to it one of these days.
Why is everybody on Dogman?
Oh.
Twiz says everybody's on Dogman. I haven't even been hearing a lot of chatter about Dogman, to be honest.
Me either. We don't get a lot of Dogman stuff here at the Hollow Compound. That's one of the more elusive sightings and creatures here at the old Hollow Sky. Which is, I mean, that's weird that it is one of the ones that we don't hear of much. Let me look and see if I can find those other ones that I saved. Oh yeah, there was a UFO sighting at the Red Rocks during a concert here recently.
I think I did hear about that.
Which is crazy. That's a pretty well-known venue.
Yeah, like I said, I think there's something inevitable happening. I'm with you, Bob. We don't get a lot of that anymore either.
No.
The ghosts and shadow people stories. We've had some pretty gnarly shadow people stories.
Everything's been a lot of UFOs here lately. Almost I wonder if that's by design.
I feel like it is. Hopefully in the near future we'll have some ghost stories.
I'm trying to think if I've had anything weird go on or happen to me specifically. Not really. I've had a lot of birds fly into my windows the last probably month.
That's
I'm
never a
talking
good
like
sign.
probably 5.
That is quite a bit.
Yeah, especially within like the last month. And I don't have a whole lot any other time. But at one point I heard one hit in the front and then I heard one hit in the back right next to neck, right back to back. I'm like, okay, so I go out in the front. There's one, didn't make it there. I never found the one in the backyard, but
Oh, you mean your house windows?
yes.
Oh, I thought you was talking about your
No,
car.
these things just dead ass flying into my stationary house windows.
That's cool.
What kind of birds?
Thankfully I didn't, but when I was driving back from my job site the other day, I almost hit an eagle.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that would have sucked. And then the next day, I almost hit a red-tailed hawk. And I remember yelling at the red-tailed hawk, "You damn exotic birds need to quit flying in front of my truck because this is going to get me in trouble."
I don't think people realize how gigantic eagles are. Me and Sarah were driving home from Hannibal in the Vinci one day, and there was one just standing in the middle of this back road we were on. We were geocaching or doing something nerdy, but it was just standing in the middle of the road. And I pull up in the Avenger, and I'm like bumper to beak with this thing, and it's looking over the hood of my car, not moving. I'm like, get out of here.
Just ready to flip the Vinci over.
Like, just because you're a protected species, like, how protected are you, big dog?
We'll square off.
Then I honked at him and he flew away, but
at least he recognized.
Yeah, it was weird. They're huge. They're monstrous.
The other thing that was weird is the storms that rolled through the other day.
Big time.
Wild.
Big time.
Dude, wild.
I think they said they got like 4 to 6 inches of rain in like 20 hours or some shit. Like, it was trucking.
Rest in peace. Apparently somebody passed away because of the flash flooding.
Oh, I didn't even hear about that.
Did you hear about that? Yeah. And then I heard that lightning was so crazy that it was hitting people's houses and catching them on fire and shit.
That's crazy.
That's nuts. Because the kid I was working with was like, dude, Jerseyville just got a warning to basically stay inside no matter what, because the lightning is getting so out of control that it's catching people's houses on fire and flash flooding's happening and all types of stuff.
That sucked to be on fire in the middle of a flash flood.
Dude, like the worst case scenario.
Outside of the lightning and the massive amounts of rain, there wasn't a whole lot of damaging like winds or anything around our area. But I know up north got trucked.
They got hammered. I almost wasn't here. I almost wasn't going to be here because, what was it? Yesterday, they put a call out and we were supposed to go on storm yesterday.
You said, no, I'm good.
We got a call Tuesday morning that we were going to go to Peoria and work storm.
That would be.
But I guess, I don't know what happened. We ended up not going. And by the evening time, I looked at the outage map and there really wasn't that many outages. So I don't know if it had to have been big downs, where a tree fell on the line and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not very many, because a lot of times you'll have in a storm where a limb will fly out and land on the line and cause an outage. And then you got to have crews come in and get the limb off the line. But it's a lot easier to, in most cases, just to, if a transmission line went down, a tree fell on the transmission line, it's easier to get that taken care of quicker anyways.
Well, thank goodness you didn't have to get
9 tornadoes in Chicago.
Yeah, I did see that. I don't know if it was on TikTok or what. Somebody was live and they're like 10 tornadoes confirmed on the ground right now. I'm like, what is happening?
And when I checked the weather, it wasn't even supposed to do anything.
Crazy.
It's like it came out of nowhere.
Pure weather manipulation.
Flipped over his brother's tractor.
That's some wind.
That is some wind. Remember when we was working in Pepsi and it flipped over the trailer?
That was wild.
We were inside a tin can and we didn't hear the whole semi-trailer fall over.
The straight line winds were
right outside.
The straight line winds were so bad. We got this little mini mall, like kind of right in the middle of our town. It picked the gravel up out of the parking lot and threw it through all the windows in the car windows. Yeah. It was nutty.
Yeah. It was a dollar store, and then people robbed the dollar store.
Yeah.
Classy.
If that wasn't a
classy.
If that shouldn't have been a precursor to the lockdowns, I don't know what was.
Classy event, man. I'm gonna go take some napkins.
We stand there and wonder why people fist fought over toilet paper, and then you think back to that and we're like, yeah, that tracks.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I didn't see that, but I heard a lot about this storm being weird. Like just out of the norm, and a lot of people were trying to connect it to that weird wave anomaly that kept coming up out of Antarctica, saying that whatever it is pulsing these storms to be massive. And then you had whatever that big hurricane was down in the Gulf, which was the earliest Category 5 storm in recorded history. It's sus.
Well, remember, it was, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago. I don't know if you'll remember this or not, but I want to say it was in South America, maybe Africa. I feel like South America. And we were looking at seismic activity. You pulled up a picture of seismic activity, and it looked like a grid. Like the seismic activity gridded out. Do you remember looking at that?
No.
It was so bizarre because it just looked like a clear pattern of different seismic activity. Like somebody was fucking with it and just created a grid pattern with different seismic activity. It was bizarre.
It's not that far-fetched at this point.
No. And what better tool to wage all types of chaos than use the weather?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And nobody would ever expect it.
No. Because it just, we know bad things happen in weather. You're kind of accustomed to, especially like if a series of 10 tornadoes were to hit here, we'd be like, yeah, that's spring and summer in Illinois, but
yeah,
it's weird.
It's
seeing pictures of hurricane.
I don't know. I feel like there's a big vested interest in controlling the weather.
Oh yeah. Been seeing pictures that show Hurricane Beryl was on the same path as the eclipse. That's fucking weird.
It is kind of weird. Like, not saying that there's stuff there, but that is weird. Although, roll this around in my head for a second. We did have a crazy weekend.
That we did.
Right?
The world is a stage,
check it out,
my friend.
Check it out, right? Check it out. In the research that I'm doing, this next episode, Steve hasn't really heard this yet. The next episode we'll be recording, it speaks on kind of everything that we've been discussing here lately over the past year, and you hear a lot of claims of the age of Aquarius is coming, the Great Awakening, yada yada yada, and this off-world entity, I'll say that, describes cataclysms, terrible situations that unfold on the planet that are not good. But he says to the people talking to him, I cannot, nor would I tell you what these cataclysms are, where they're going to take place, what they're going to be, because it's all dictated through essentially the consciousness and thinking of the inhabitants of the planet Earth. So almost like in varying degrees, the consciousness, the people of the planet, somehow, some way, and I hope that later on it elaborates on this, but somehow, some way influence the catastrophes across the planet.
Yeah, I mean it probably works the same way intention works in all other forms. You know, if you almost like if you have a collective negativity in huge masses, it's probably gonna create some negativity.
Right. And then, like I said, we had a pretty wild weekend.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like almost seemingly out of nowhere, these gnar-ass storms pop up.
It is weird.
Not saying it's connected, but it is weird.
It is weird. We live. I don't even know. We're
And what's even crazier, since JJ's in the chat, the off-world entity that they're talking to, it names. I mean, at first it's Hatan, and then later on they make contact with this new entity, but its name is Ra, which is relevant to JJ and the things that she's had go on.
It is weird that they pull the names of gods, essentially.
Yeah.
Like historical gods.
Because it wasn't the video we were watching together. It named itself Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird that Kyle had been putting this episode series together, and I didn't really have any idea what it was about because that's just how we do things. But this video popped up on my Twitter, and I watched it for a little bit and just didn't really think about it. And then me and Kyle were together and we were talking, kind of touching base on what he was getting into. And I'm like, holy shit, that sounds exactly like what this guy was just talking about. And it was almost like verbatim spot on exactly what Kyle was going to go over, what the information that they got from when the early 90s, 91 or some shit.
Yeah. And now that I think about it, what was it, just a couple months back, they were talking about scientists and other people amongst the government have been talking about motherships being in our universe. Right. Yeah. And so now think about that, Steve, and compare it to the video that you listened to. And then what I told you.
Yeah.
I mean, it completely tracks.
Yeah, there are a bunch of different, I'm not going to say sources because I didn't get them personally, but a lot of different factions that say that there are a lot of non-human entities, non-human intelligences gathering up around the earth to kind of watch what's going to go down. They said that for some reason, tons of off-world entities think that something massive is going to happen for the human race. And there are a lot of them just kind of hanging out, watching the show, which also kind of leads into how these UFO sightings have ticked up so much in the last 2 years. They said something big. A lot of people believes it might be geological, which, I mean, it could be maybe pole shift. I don't know. Geological runs a lot of gamuts, but they said it also, a lot of people also feel it's going to be a big spiritual event as well, which I'm not really sure what their basis behind that is. But those are the two things that they're kind of pushing out front. Massive geological
It's the
event
same thing in my
or
research
massive
that it's a
spiritual event.
spiritual thing.
And whatever these things are out there, they don't. It's even hard to know if they have any real vested interest outside of just watching what happens. You know, because on multiple occasions you hear that they're not gonna step in, they're not gonna try to change the course, they're just gonna let it play out and see what is going on.
And the video you watched, the guy in that claimed that the Monroe Institute put that information out, right?
Yes, it was the latest drop from the Monroe Institute.
That's what I thought. And then, like I said, mine was, these two have done research for a long time. But I believe contact with Raw started somewhere in the 90s.
Yeah, what was it, 91, I thought, maybe?
Somewhere around there. So it's interesting to dive through that and see all the parallels and how it keeps popping up.
It does. Man, on one hand, I'm like, are we really primed up for something massive to take place? But then on the other hand, like, we are living in a movie right now, folks. It is crazy.
True story.
It is crazy times on planet Earth. Let me tell you.
True story.
Let me tell you. So it wouldn't be that shocking, I guess, at this point. Man, the chat is just flying off here.
I know. Going on Saturn Kick.
Yeah, which oddly enough we brought up in your episode.
Yeah.
Strangely enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Horror film would be slightly more accurate.
Yeah, it's weird times, everybody. Weird times. Logan said, just listen to the Stardust Ranch episodes, and I blocked out. The entertainment was so good. Love the Hellier stuff too, fellas. Y'all are awesome. Thanks for hanging out, Logan. We appreciate you.
We do. Stardust was a pretty special series. It was a good one.
Yeah. That was the introduction of the alien skip it, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting time. Yeah, we did know 2024 was going to be wild. I think 2025 is probably going to be worse. But then hopefully if we can get through that, maybe we'll start getting on a path of normalcy, a pre-2012 path of normalcy.
I think it can happen. Right now, it's just kind of out of the wheelhouse. People are way too vested in things and way too passionate about things. And
yeah,
it's getting a little crazy out there because I do things that you shouldn't do. Everybody yells at me for it, but I like it to a degree.
Breaking the law.
I dive into comment sections, which is one of the most toxic places on the planet.
Yeah. If you can separate it.
People get passionate.
If you can just kind of stand outside and enjoy the chaos.
Yeah.
It's like watching a car crash. Like, man,
it is probably worse than that.
Yeah.
On some of these posts that I've clicked on, it's definitely worse than a car crash.
Yeah. We'd all have to jump back to the pre-2012 universe, though.
Man, dude, that would have been epic to have that sign.
Yeah.
I'd put it right up behind me somewhere.
I forget that you went out there, honestly.
Yeah.
It pops up in my, I am horrible about saving everything in my phone. And sometimes I'll go through and I'm deleting old pictures and shit. And I saw that one view in front of Stardust. I was like, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it's a wild time. Wild time.
Yeah, I don't know about horrible or hilarious, but I did see the game, and I can't appreciate that.
Hey, Holocult. We are back and excited to announce our new partnership with Badlands Pet Superfood Complete. Why are so many dogs suffering with health issues? Actress Katherine Heigl, who's helped saved over 16,000 dogs through her foundation, says she's seeing more issues with dogs' joints, odors, and health than ever before. After doing a ton of research, she feels there's one place we can look to support any dog's health: their food. So she decided to create something she could actually feel good about feeding her dog, and it's called Superfood Complete. Superfood Complete is made with over 30 of the healthiest ingredients on the planet, including several superfoods vital to your dog's health. Badlands Ranch also supports the Jason Debus Heigl Foundation, which has helped rescue thousands of dogs and place them in loving homes.
Dogs across America are trying this food, and even my dog loves this food. He's just been virtually absorbing it, but the health benefits that go along with it are just fantastic. He loves every bit of it.
Go to badlandsranch.com/hollow and order right now to get up to 50% off your regular priced order with a 90-day money-back guarantee. If you want your dog to experience all these incredible things, go to BADLANDS ranch.com/HOLO today. Yeah, I'm trying to follow the chat, and it's just doing chat stuff, so just carry on.
Yeah, it's a little... I did see that Tenacious D may have split up.
Oh, yeah. It is a turbulent time in the political world.
That's an understatement. That is an understatement.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Here, it's something we ain't done in a while. What do you think about that, ladies and gentlemen?
Ladies and gentlemen,
tonight is the night. Take some of your calls if you're willing to talk to us, have conversations, tell us weird shit. Anything and everything.
The whole thing. Other news, Kyle's hair is on point.
Appreciate that, JJ. I always mess with my wife. I always tell her I'm gonna shave it off. Anytime she makes me mad, I go, "That's it. I'm grabbing the clippers." She's like, "No, you are not."
Going straight for the shot. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of what else is going crazy in the paranormal world. Again, a lot of UFO stuff. I've been kind of trying to delve away from that. I've been really, ever since the Michelin Man encounters, I've been kind of diving into these strange entity encounters. I call them one-offs, but they're really not. Because once you get into them, like more, the fact that essentially hundreds of people saw a creature that looks like the Michelin Man throughout time is bonkers to me.
Yeah,
like there has to be something there, right?
Well, yeah, of course, but I also feel like the Michelin Man is probably not that hard to beat up, so I'm not that afraid.
That one was 15 feet tall.
I like our odds.
Did we get to that one? No, that was on the Patreon. This woman looks out her house. I'm a little Patreon teaser here for those of you that aren't on Patreon. You need to go do it. This woman looks out her window, and there is a 15-foot tall Michelin tire man, laying on her neighbor's roof, just kind of sunning himself there, just kicking it, chilling.
He's just hanging out,
chilling. And
is it at night or in middle of the day? Please tell me.
It's at night, I think. But she sees.
So he's moon bathing.
Yeah, of course. He's a tire,
which is weird. That's actually way creepier than sunbathing.
I don't want to see a 15-foot tall tire man doing either, honestly. But he, she's up in her second story window. She sees him just laying there. She's like, he's just kicked back, not really doing anything. and she sees a couple walking. They turn the corner and they go to walk down the street. So she tries to yell at them to see if they see it. But when she goes, paralyzed, can't talk, which is kind of a commonality
That's weird.
in some of the other Michelin Man tire encounters. Can't say anything.
Oh, counter Colt got that one in the bag.
That's true. He does drink.
Michelin Man is weak against potholes.
He does drink rusty nails and broken glass, though.
Also true.
But old girl, after she couldn't,
he will put on
karate
some
moves.
speedos and karate.
I shared all of those old posters of the Patreon. They're too good not to.
Good.
But anyway,
They are good.
Once she realized she couldn't say anything, it really started freaking her out. So what does she do? What's one of three things that people do whenever they're confronted with aliens?
Goes
right to bed. She's like, okay,
of course,
I'm going to bed.
I saw a YouTube comment that was saying the dude you watched, the Shrouded Hand or whatever, he has some of the Michelin Man that don't sound alien at all.
Yeah, I didn't try to touch on the ones that he went hard on, because I'm not trying to cut his grass. He's doing hella cool things with his channel. I tell everybody, go over there, check him out. Shrouded Hand on YouTube. That dude has some bonkers encounters he comes across, which is kind of, I saw him dive into that and I'm like, oh man, there's got to be more than these like 3 that he put out there. So I started digging into that. Definitely go check his video out. He's funny and he does good work.
The Michelin Man, did he really do anything like ultra nefarious in any of the accounts?
Outside of just regular alien shit, like experiments on people and stuff, I had one encounter on the Patreon where
he did experiments.
What's that?
He did experiments.
Yeah,
on people?
remember was the one we talked about where they put the radiation on the woman, and he was wearing the suit.
Oh yeah, I kind of figured, was that an experiment or a byproduct?
I feel like he purposely did that.
Yeah, it's like his version of using pepper spray.
He's like, I'm just gonna douse you in this radioactive chemical because we're seeing what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if that's the case, then yeah, he is kind of malicious in some, because it kind of reminded me, like when you were talking about the 15-foot moon bathing, it kind of reminded me of which I actually, looking back, I really, really, really love the episode, our Stickman episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would just see this fucking weird thing, and then it would kind of just do its thing and then disappear.
Those kind of things are so bonkers to me. Like, what even are these things? Everybody's so
that Stickman episode was balling.
Everybody's so focused on like the main big 3 cryptids and gray aliens. I feel like you get into this weird shit, and there's weird shit.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm trying to hear, is a bunch of weird shit.
Yeah. Yeah. What we got going on in the chat over here? It's trucking. Zipping across the sky.
People talking about switching tire brands now.
Yeah.
Because the Michelin Man's so creepy.
Yeah. That's the crazy thing, Chucky. Like, they start off as one-offs, but once you start digging into them, they have this weird, like, they're usually not just singularly one-offs. That was kind of like the direction Keel took. He's like, you get all these cases of people seeing things, and then you have these, like, one specific thing will stand out. And once you start making those correlations, it starts linking a bunch of the phenomena together. Like in those, in the Michelin Man one, we had at least, I think there might be 2 more in the Patreon episode of whatever these things are in these big tire-like suits collecting grass and tree and dirt samples again. Which is crazy. Weird. It's crazy.
That makes you feel like they're not familiar with our planet, and they're kind of sent to investigate.
Yeah. Which, I mean, like you said, with the robot aliens, they were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Only different suit.
Oh, and think about it. Whenever they caught Homeboy around, they also pepper sprayed him. They knocked him out when he was up in that tree.
It's crazy.
It's weird.
Dude, I don't know how I would react if I saw a 15-foot tall tire man just as I'm cruising.
I would automatically assume that I'm extremely tired because I saw Buzz Lightyear once.
Which makes me wonder now.
Please tell me that I legitimately saw Buzz Lightyear.
Was that just a lack of sleep hallucination? Or was it an entity taking the form of something that you were familiar with, something from your childhood, that would they be like, you know what? We don't want to creep Kyle out too bad, so let's just take the form of Buzz.
Bro, I was insanely tired, to be fair.
Driving.
That's exactly the problem. We 100% should pulled over and took a nap at the rest stop. Yeah. But instead, we splashed water on our face and was like, we can make it.
And we did. Barely.
I don't know how. At all.
Yeah. Oh, where were we coming back from that one time and we saw the giant plane just static in the sky, not moving?
That was Crypticon, I think.
We see some weird shit.
I know. That was the same one where Homeboy knew your name.
That was coming back from Dogman.
Maybe the plane one was Dogman too then. I'm almost sure it was the same trip.
That was coming back from Dogman. That's bonkers too.
Yeah.
Straight bonkers.
But it makes you wonder, man. It makes you wonder because like all the stuff I'm looking into talks about breaking out of the Matrix, breaking out of the illusion. And that's the thing you guys are going to learn this upcoming Monday is how relevant that episode was in regards to our last night shift. It was ridiculous.
It was weird. What if the alien is the original Michelin Man and they just created the character to desensitize us? If that's the case, how many other aliens have been characterized? Ooh. Flip the script.
It's kind of gross. It's kind of a gross thought.
Flip the script.
That is a gross thought.
To think, I mean,
it did come from old times.
Yeah. The Michelin Man's like 125 years old, 140 years old.
Yeah.
He old as hell.
He had a weird Latin name too.
But Bendham. It wasn't even supposed to be its name. Because it has nothing to do with tires, but they just thought it looked cool. Which I can't knock them for that.
Yeah. But I don't know. And then they gave it a Latin name, which is bizarre.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of if there was anything else weird. I had the weird conspiracy-esque Bigfoot death where the guy was trying to prove Bigfoot. The Red Rock UFO encounter where I think it was two security officials saw a UFO I don't know if it was actually during an event or if they were just there, but the fact that it's a major entertainment area is wild.
I think it's just getting to a time where it's inevitable. They're just going to have to tell us about it.
Yeah, you'd think they'd already just do it at this point.
Yeah.
Especially now. Like everybody is so politically driven right now. They could be like, hey, aliens are real. They're coming here to watch us evolve or drive geo metros into oblivion. I don't know. That most people probably wouldn't even give a shit. They'd be like, okay, whatever.
That sounds like an interesting time, JJ. Things being flying off the shelf. I did see something. That reminds me, I did see something about the Zach Baggins Museum about how, at least there's 2 or 3 people that went there and left and instantly claimed that other things followed him home.
Damn, we should go.
I mean, I'm not opposed
It's in
to
Las
it.
Vegas, isn't it?
Yeah, if it's in the city, we're either gonna have to Uber or you're gonna drive, because I don't do good city environments.
I'll just close my eyes and go.
Okay. I mean, as long as I'm not behind the wheel, I won't be stressed about it.
I think it's in Vegas. I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure it is.
It'd be cool to
cities are
do
dumb.
once.
I agree.
Especially
I would definitely
if he's there and I can be like, "Hey nerd, come on our show."
And then he would just turn around and act like he didn't hear you.
He'd be like, "It's demons. Look at these scratches."
Then we get picked up,
Yeah.
tossed across the room. I saw a video of a guy where that happened. And it was a video, but you never know if videos are real anymore.
These scratches turned into a Tap Out logo.
Fuck yeah.
You guys down for a chat about dreams? I have a somewhat connection to an older episode about dreams. Send it. Let's get it. We are here for it.
Always and forever. It is our destiny.
We need a vote, Colt. Do we want to... We're all for Chris's dream call, but he wants to know...
Oh, here we go. We
There
got
it
a
is.
phone call.
The cult has spoken.
Hey, welcome to the night shift.
Yo.
What's up?
Howdy,
What's
guys.
going on?
How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Yeah, I just kind of joined up everything here a while back and been listening to you guys from literally episode 1 up until I'm still into last year right now. But
Wow.
yeah,
Trucking through it.
definitely enjoying the podcast, you guys. This is fantastic.
Awesome.
We're glad
Thank
to
you.
have you.
Yeah, well, so y'all y'all had a thing going on with you had Tony Merkel on, and he was talking about, how he had some, there was some stuff going on and there were some dreams, and people would, I can't remember if it was he that said he was waking up from the dreams and feeling them, or if it was somebody else. But yeah, no, I've had that happen, and it's actually one dream specifically. And it's kind of weird. I'm in like a school back in like middle school or something, kind of feels like, and I get the question wrong, and this teacher takes her hand in like a knife hand form and just jabs it under my ribs. And for whatever reason, I got the question wrong, I guess. But yeah, and shortly after that would happen, I would wake up, and I would feel that under my rib cage exactly where she had stabbed me at. And it just, and until I've been listening to all the guys that would call in or say their stories, and until now, never had anything that clicked or, resonated with anything else until the Tony Merkel episode. And I was like, oh crap.
I've had a dream like that before that I briefly talked about on the show. Steve, you might remember whenever I dreamed that there was something at the foot of my bed and it stuck something in my foot.
Yes.
I felt a real sharp pain in my foot, and then I in real life reacted to it, and my foot hurt.
Which
Whoa.
is crazy. It almost like, it makes you wonder if, like, which comes first. Like, is the pain there, and then your brain's trying to like help you make sense of it as you're sleeping, or is this stuff like legitimately happening as you're experiencing it in a different realm?
Yeah, that's just the weirdest thought process to try and put together. And I love a good brain challenge and trying to do something like that, but just listening to everything that's been going on, and I listen to several podcasts, paranormal and, all that kind of stuff, but just having that connection to that right there, and then it actually clicking and being like, oh man, okay, maybe there's actually something kind of out there, because I'm always out there in the ether thinking about random nonsense, just putting together all these weird AI videos that are out now, and how maybe there's some semblance to them, and piecing together my own broken truth, if you will. But yeah, just thinking about something like that just puts my brain in all kinds of modes, and I love it. It just having that thought process going.
It's also weird because our listener experience is kind of a dream, and there is, not that it's a direct correlation, but it is almost like a punishment scenario, kind of like yours. So that one will be coming out tomorrow morning.
Yeah, definitely tune into that.
It's weird. It's weird that it's similar, and that you bring that up. That it is kind of like a punishment scenario.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah,
I will definitely
weird.
be checking that out.
It's kind of terrifying to think that things can happen to you on like in a different conscious realm that will bleed over to actual physical ailments and pain on this plane.
Right.
Which is crazy.
It is the weirdest thing. And that's what struck me. Oh, I remember what it was now. The guy was having a dream about getting shot in the abdomen. And and when he woke up, he was sore in those areas where he got shot in his dream. And yeah, that's what that was. But and weird random other things, like tweaking my neck in the dream, doing something weird, and I fall and hurt my neck, and then waking up and my neck's like, oh God, what,
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I've had similar things happen. Like I can't remember what it was in my dream, but I would wake up like with a cramp in my calf, and they would have some correlation of whatever I was dreaming about. Like, I don't know if I got stabbed or bit by a dog or what it was, but it was like my brain was almost trying to fill in the gaps of the pain that I was experiencing in real life.
That's fair. Yeah.
It's I think I like that better than like accepting the fact that things in a different subconscious realm could actually hurt me in this realm.
Yeah.
Somehow when we're asleep, we're in a different dimension, bro.
The more you look into it, the more that actually holds a little bit of water. It's wild.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. And then, just with other random dreams, like, have y'all ever had, so again, being basically a year behind on y'all's episodes, because I'm, trying to keep all the things in line. I don't want to be weirded out by something, but anyway, have y'all talked about Alice in Wonderland syndrome yet?
No,
I don't think so.
Oh, interesting. So, I mean, do y'all even know what that is, or?
Not really. Elaborate for me if you would.
Okay. So Alice in Wonderland syndrome is like, you can be in the waking world. We're here, we're awake, we're conscious, whatever. And you're sitting there talking with somebody, or you're sitting there watching TV, or you're looking at something off in the distance or something up close, but somehow you feel further away, like you feel smaller or bigger than that thing. Somehow the things are closer to you than they should be, or things feel further away than they should. And come to find out, I experienced that. I had no idea what it was until again, the other random podcasts that I listen to have explained that to me now. And yeah, it's a weird head thing. I forget what they related it to, but it's nothing like super, like, health concerning or anything. But it's just literally things for me. I can be, say, like at a job interview, and I'm at the interview and I'm talking with the person. It usually happens under times of stress or something like that, is I think what they said. But I can be like at a job interview and I'm talking to the person and things are going great, and then all of a sudden I feel like I'm very far away from him and he's very far away from me, and I'm looking at him through a weird, like if you turn binoculars around and look through the big end first, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That is
wild. That's kind of how it feels, right?
That is weird.
Yeah. I mean, if y'all have time, check into Alice in Wonderland syndrome. It's a interesting little kind of brain thing, But yeah. I experienced that in my dreams too. Weird, random stuff like that. Sorry, trying to refrain from cursing. I'm not sure if that's been revoked on YouTube yet or not, but
we should send it.
Okay, cool. Sick. All right. But yeah, so yeah, no, it can be in dreams, like a rubber band is floating by in the dream, and it seems like it's 18 times the size of me, and I'm sitting in the living room and a rubber band just floats by and it's freaking huge, and then all of a sudden everything else seems smaller and all that other nonsense. But yeah, dreams are weird, man.
Dreams
Yes, they are.
weird. Dreams are weird. I don't dream that much, honestly. Or if I do, I just don't remember.
Yeah.
It's very few and far between that sticks out to me. Which I don't know.
Have y'all ever dreamed about something and it happened?
Not that I can recall.
Same. But I made the connection a while ago, which is why you may not have heard it, but I used to have dreams of when I was a teenager. I used to have dreams of a light bar that would come through my window and scan the room for me. And I remember having bunk beds, and I would curl up against the wall on the bottom bunk. And I didn't put this together until one of my last episodes. Well, there was one this before. I mean, it was my wife, but we weren't married yet. And she was there and we were sleeping, and she wakes me up about 2 or 3 in the morning and says, "Kyle, there's somebody shining a light through the window." And I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here. There is not." So I get up and I look out the window into the backyard, and there's nothing there. But then I look off into the distance, and there's a bright orange ball of light. Huge.
Okay.
And it was reminiscent, like it would be comparable almost to, if my memory serves me correct, it would be comparable to like the size of the moon. But it was on the horizon, and it was, I mean, clearly, it's not like I stood there for hours. It was clearly moving. And my wife was standing right next to me, and she goes, "What the fuck is that?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." I gave the explanation that it's probably a bonfire reflecting off a cloud. And she's like, "There's no way." And I'm like, "Listen, we're not going to talk about this tonight. We're going to go back to bed. We'll talk about it in the morning."
Fair.
And that's exactly what we did.
The go-to reaction.
Yeah, I'm not trying to stay up the rest of the night. I'm trying to go to sleep.
Yeah, we can process this in the morning.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's great.
It is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't dream a whole lot.
I don't know.
Very rarely.
It's weird, man. It's bizarre. And then like on the listener experience, I kind of proposed the question of, is it possible that our dreams somehow can access past life, almost like a past life regression would do? Because with those regressions, you're usually placed under hypnosis, which in a roundabout way could be pretty similar to dreaming, to sleeping. I wonder if there's the same mechanism gets triggered inside that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Man.
It's weird to think about, and it's dreams they're fucking bizarre. They're absolutely bizarre.
Exactly. Like I said, dreams are weird, man. I've had just crazy nonsense. I mean, so one dream, the reason why I asked about if you guys have ever had a dream and, then it came true. I literally had a dream, and I still have the shirt hanging up in my closet to this day. I was in, I don't know, early high school. And it was a blue shirt with a dragon on the front. I loved that shirt. I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." Wore it over to one of my buddies' houses, and we were just screwing around, being, little teenagers off in southern Georgia, not having anything else to do, and we're tossing around a raw egg just for the heck of it, and this is happening in my dream. And we're tossing it back and forth and, whatever. Well, it busts on my friend's hands, and he's like, "Oh man, this sucks," and so he wipes it on his shirt, and we start walking back to his house. And when we get to his house, he jumped on my back and got the egg on my shirt, and I was pissed, and I chased him through the house, I was like, I'm gonna call my mom, man, leave me alone, F off, whatever. And probably, I don't know, a couple weeks later, the exact same thing happened. It was like a week or two later. And the way it played out, the scenario, we were tossing the egg. I had the shirt on. And just before we entered the house, I had the thought, like, I swear to God, this MFer better not jump on the back of my shirt and get that egg on me, because I will be pissed. And that's exactly what he did. And I chased him through the house, and he got on the phone, tried to call his mom. Just, what the heck, man? Dreams, what?
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I would have comparable to that is the feeling of deja vu.
Right.
Like that's all
God,
that.
I have deja vu so much, man.
But yours is like the reverse of deja vu.
Yeah, it's precognition.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Well, I mean, maybe there's a bit of that, but and I can't, I cannot say details right now because I do not remember, but there have been other times that's happened. I just cannot remember what it was, but it's every so often. I mean, honestly, since that incident, that's the one that still sticks out to me, because I still have the shirt, and I can look at the shirt and be like, that motherfucker,
I would almost
that's the one I have.
Start keeping like a dream journal if you remember enough. Just put a notebook by the side of your bed, because if it's happened more than once, like, there could be a chance that it happens again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how they say that. I've looked into dreams. You know how they say that you can't see faces in dreams, or do y'all know that?
I have heard that.
Yeah. Okay. So and I'm like, okay, well, what? No, I see faces in my dreams. I see my, constantly, like my ex-wife or my son's mom or my parents, or just last night, literally, I had a dream, and it was me and my oldest sister. And we're just hanging out, doing whatever. And in walks my dad, who passed away 13 years ago. And for some reason in my head, in that dream, I was like, hey, sis, let's go have a cigarette outside real quick, And she's like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, that's not my dad. And she goes, what do you mean? I was like, Dad died 13 years ago, Marianne. Do you not realize that? And then I woke up. Like the snap of a finger, I woke up. As soon as I said that, she looked at me, and I woke up. It was the creepiest.
That is creepy
feeling.
I bet.
That is creepy.
Yeah.
I read that we can see faces in our dreams, but only of people that we have met, like faces that we have physically seen with our eyes. Like, I read somewhere that our brain cannot create faces in our dreams. Has to be people that we have seen, whether we know it or not, maybe just passing by on the television, whatever. Okay. But it is.
So you'd never legitimately prove that it was somebody you hadn't seen.
Exactly.
Right. Oh, hell no.
Right.
No, yeah. That makes a lot more sense, though.
Which kind of seems lame, but I mean, I'm also not a scientist or a dream doctor.
Dreamologist.
So. That's fair. Dreamologist.
Sick. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna hop off of here. Let somebody else hop in if they can or want to. I just, like I said, I'm still a year behind on all the current podcasts, but just hearing that one with Tony Merkel, I was like, oh man, last week should I call in? But there was no live last week, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not current. Maybe y'all were out of town or something. I don't know. And so there's one this week, and I was like, ooh, let me call.
There you go. You got it.
Yeah, buddy.
We appreciate you, my friend.
Oh, man. All right, guys. Yeah, like I said, y'all are killing it out there. I absolutely love listening to this. I work in pest control, so I just have y'all in my ear all day long.
That's awesome.
And it's the best, guys. I absolutely love it.
Awesome. We appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, dude.
Absolutely, guys. And I'm going to steal it from you. Stay safe and stay weird.
You as well, brother.
Much love, man.
All right, guys. Peace out, man.
Later. Yeah, dreams suck.
If I have them, I don't remember them. And the ones I do usually aren't cool.
Yeah, the ones I typically remember are not good ones.
I had thought I always kind of teeter on doing an episode about like weird mental disorders, I guess, and I you have to kind of
Yeah.
navigate that water very respectively because
Yeah.
people do suffer from these ailments, but the human brain is so just absolutely crazy, man. Some of the things like Alice in Wonderland syndrome. What are some of the other ones that I've come across? Cotard syndrome, which is also known as like walking corpse delusion, where you think either a part of you or all of you is dead. You're convinced that you are dead and rotting, which is
That's not
yeah,
cool.
it is. It is wild. Cotard syndrome, also known as Cotard's delusion or walking corpse syndrome, is a rare mental disorder in which the affected person holds the delusional belief that they are dead, they do not exist, and are putrefying or have lost all their blood or internal organs. That is like the brain is crazy that it can have that kind of
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah.
What are some other ones?
Why do you think things like that
Dude,
happen?
I have no idea. I have no
I mean,
idea. And maybe there's some sort of like some sort of trauma. Maybe they're in some kind of traumatic accident that I don't know, knock some synapses loose or something to make them like if maybe you have like maybe there is a traumatic thing. Say you get shot and survive, or say you're in a horrible car accident and survive, and your brain just kind of like, hey, maybe you didn't survive, and you're just consciously you're alive, but your physical body is just withering away.
I don't know. I personally don't know. I'm trying to find something in my head that could maybe explain it, but I just can't.
And some of them are like you delve down that realm. There's one called capgras syndrome, where the person fully 100% believes that either a singular member of their family or close personal unit or their whole family has been replaced by clones. 100% believe it.
Oh, awesome.
And then there's another one for goalies where they fully believe that one person they're close to or their immediate family is constantly being changed in and out, like a changeling scenario. They're constantly not the people who they thought they were.
And like, I'm not discrediting or crediting or anything, blah, blah, blah. But that also runs parallel to some paranormal occurrences.
Yeah. Oh, let me make sure I get this right. Okay. Capgras syndrome. The patient believes that a spouse, a family member, or other familiar individual has been replaced by a physically identical imposter. So I was right on that. There's reverse Capgras syndrome, a variant of Capgras syndrome where the patient believes that they themselves are the imposter, often a famous or admired figure. Subjective Capgras syndrome, a variant again in which the patient believes that they have a double or a doppelganger who acts independently of themselves. And then you have Fragoli syndrome, where the patient believes that strangers are familiar people in disguise.
I don't even know. Like, because to a varying degree, it makes me feel like gang stalking to varying degrees.
It's immediately popped into my head. Like these things are,
And then you also do hear accounts where, this obviously we have no proof of this, but you hear of people being cloned and like taking over said person's life.
yeah,
Because look at how many celebrities where people have quote unquote proven their passing, and then they come back all of a sudden, and they do, admittingly so. In most of these cases, there are subtle visual differences to that individual where you're kind of like, huh.
yeah.
I mean, I can see it, but I also, it's like, really? Is this really happening right now? Are people legitimately being cloned and swapped
Dude, have you
out?
seen that interview with Jim Brewer talking about Dave Chappelle? Where he says,
I don't know that I've seen the full thing.
where he says like Chappelle was visited, and whenever he kind of went off the rails and went to Africa, he said, I cannot with 100% certainty say that the Dave Chappelle that I knew is the one that came back. He's like, communication just stopped after that, which is crazy.
It's weird.
Crazy.
There are a lot of celebrity cases where visually they look completely different.
Yeah.
They look the same, but they also, like, there are some obvious signs of
Who
like,
was the Gucci Mane? Remember when he went to prison and came
yes,
back? Looked like
that's the first one I thought of.
Yeah.
And then the same with Kanye.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kanye's one too.
Yep.
It's bizarre.
So, dude, it is crazy, absolutely crazy. But nothing is out of the realm of possibility, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, it almost makes you wonder if they have some ability, some way to push these mental disorders as sort of like to further the discredit tactic of people who actually do experience these things, people who actually do have family members that are replaced, there's a lot of people talk about Chappelle when he came back, like his physical structure of his body was different. Like he looked like a different person when he came back.
I didn't know him close enough. I didn't watch enough of him to be able to visually recognize
Listening to Jim Brewer talk about it's almost uncomfortable because you can see at first glance, it feels like he's saying a lot of things and not saying anything at all. But then you kind of listen to him again and he is choosing all of his words very, very carefully. Like he's almost afraid to let a specific narrative slip out. So he is very particular with what he's putting out there.
Whoever called, if you would like to call back, you can. Sorry, we were mid-sentence. But you're more than welcome to call back and we'll answer the phone.
My bad.
No, it's good. Well, there's that one clip, you don't want to believe it, where I know it's Kevin Hart and somebody else was talking and they start bringing up like essentially the Illuminati and he's kind of like,
yeah.
Cut it out. All right, here we go. Hey, welcome to the night shift. What's going on?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
It's JJ.
Welcome.
How you doing?
I'm good. All right. So you guys are talking about dreams and then you mentioned the changeling thing. And I was like, oh, I have not shared this dream with you guys or publicly. Well, maybe Steve saw it, but okay, get ready. So in the dream, I am in a movie theater and my husband is extremely excited about going to see this movie. And there's like nobody in the theater, but everything is red. The floor is red. The walls are red with movie posters. We run past like the food kiosk and we're going through all of these twisting halls. And then we go to get in the movie theater and it's huge, like the biggest movie theater I've ever seen, like more like what you would imagine like a theater auditorium would be. And there's 3 different rows of seats. And then up behind the third row, there's a whole bunch of carpeting. And then there's people like almost like grass seats at an outside amphitheater. So I walk in and there's not that many people there. And I'm just like, wow, like this is a huge theater. And so we take our seats in the middle and the credit, what do you call them? Like the openers where they start playing like the trailers for other movies come up.
Yeah.
And it pops up the movie, The Changeling. But that's all it says on the screen is The Changeling. And then I remember kind of thinking in my head, wait, didn't that movie already come out? And I look around and the theater is now packed. Like there are people everywhere. And I'm like, okay, that filled up really, really quick. And as I look back, I realize up on the carpeted part, these people brought a horse. So there's like 5 people standing around and there's a horse laying on a blanket. And I'm thinking that's kind of weird. Like, why would you bring a horse to the movie theater? But like, whatever floats your goat, do you? So I turn around and then the lights start to dim and the movie starts to come on. And I only remember that the movie was 2 words and it started with the word dark. And there was a second word. And as like the lights start to dim, all of a sudden this rush of flooding water comes from the back of the seats. And it's like flooding people. It's coming up under the seats. People are getting washed away. People are screaming. They're like running. People are trying to get out. And I turn around and I realize that the horse that was laying down, its water broke and it was about to give birth. And then we end up trying to like wait people out and then get up and leave. So obviously I have a whole bunch of wonderful people in my life who help me with dream interpretation. And we end up finding out the movie was The Dark Tower. And obviously the changeling comes into play in here as well. But someone brought up the 5th horse of the apocalypse was born. And I was like, I don't even think that's a thing. But I looked it up. It's a thing. And the 5th horse of the apocalypse is fear. And it was a scary movie that we were going to see.
Weird.
When did you have that dream?
This was about a month ago. I have the exact date. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Not the best.
Because I haven't heard of the
Me
5th
either.
horse. It's always 4
Neither
horsemen.
have I.
I could see fear being one of the horsemen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So apparently I took this dream to a couple different groups of people for dream interpretation because I wanted like different aspects and outlooks. And every single one of them came back with the same thing. So I rewatched the movie The Dark Tower because I was not going to read all 8 books. And I tried to read one book and I gave it away like 20 years ago. It was the first book I ever gave away that I could not read, which I've never done before. So it stuck with me. But he walks in between different worlds and different timelines. And as you guys know, right now, the timelines are converging and a lot of them are collapsing. That's why it feels like every day we wake up and we don't know where we are and things seem kind of out of whack because the timelines are starting to converge or to collapse on each other.
It's
not the first time we've heard that either.
It's a terrifying thought as a whole.
Yeah.
It is.
But it's not a bad thing because if you think about it, when we're coming into the merge of the different dimensions, higher dimensional beings are able to traverse different timelines. If there's too many timelines on the lower levels, they need to get rid of that because it's not conducive for them to go through all of these different timelines. If they start consolidating, they can have more interaction, direct interaction with people, which is why I think there's so many of them coming forward lately to so many of us. Of the old gods, I mean, which are higher dimensional beings.
As long as I'm not in a collapsing timeline. What happens to all of them?
In a collapsing timeline, you're just going to get moved over to another one.
I guess that's true.
And it does kind of make me, and I want to attribute everything to what I'm looking into because they're the lessons that are taught in my episodes coming up. I feel like this fits a mold within that because the entity Hatan and we haven't gotten to Ra yet, but Hatan he's he talks like he's a foreshadower. Like he talks
Mhm.
like things are cool, you know, like we got to spread love and we got to find the path. Um, but I feel like there's a but coming that we haven't stumbled on yet in the episode. And then by what Steve was saying, you know, all these different, be it extraterrestrials, interdimensional, whatever, they're gathering around our planet to bear witness to whatever is about to happen to the human race.
Yeah, that isn't slightly terrifying in its own little way, but
Yeah.
also exciting at the same time.
It is terrifying when we take what I'm looking into, which was done in the 90s, and then apparently I haven't looked into it quite yet, but apparently what the Monroe Institute just dropped, both talk of how to phrase it, essentially ascending. We'll say ascending. However, when you listen to or read what Hatan says, he says you mustn't, essentially you mustn't hold any value in your third dimensional belongings or your third dimensional self, because he conjunctions this with the cataclysms and how we will be essentially be upset that the strong winds and the fires and the water ruins our material things. But you shall not be concerned with your third dimensional items or self, because soon you will ascend to your fourth density. And then what the Monroe Institute put out is eerily similar to that. And the dude's stoked about it. And I'm like, in my head, I'm hearing, so essentially we're going to have a great flood again, is what you're saying. And we shouldn't be concerned with the aftermath of what happens to us now, which to me signifies us dying, us passing, and being raptured or ascended into our fourth dimension, fourth density.
You can still ascend into a higher density or a higher dimension, not density, because dense is lower. You can still ascend into that while you're in the third dimension. And that's the thing about the whole 5D movement that would upset me slightly is everyone thinks you go from 3 to 5D, but they skip 4D. And if you look at it like a chakra, the fourth chakra is the heart center. The fifth is the throat. So if you miss the heart center and you go straight from your power center to your voice, you're just yelling, you're angry, right? And you're not able to handle things because you're off balance. But if you go through the heart center first and that's lined up, then when you hit the fifth, you're speaking with love.
And Hatan does speak how everyone needs to focus on love. That's the key. That's the key. That's the key. It's not the first time we've heard that in our research, and I guarantee it's not going to be the last. But the key is to find that love. And he speaks about how everyone, whether they know it or not, will make that decision, whether you are or you aren't. And creepily enough, they call themselves, and this is a terrifying word, but they call themselves the harvesters.
Now you got a Metallica song going through my head, but
but they call themselves the harvesters, and they are here to harvest as many souls as they can.
But if you take that into biblical terms, which a lot of people do, there's a whole verse about separating the wheat from the chaff and about the harvest.
Well, and I will tell you this. I do pose the question in the episode, because Hatan and Raw, from what I've gotten out of Raw so far, very little. They do say that they have made contact with the human race over a long period. And the way they word it is essentially that they have tried making communication in the past and it just kind of hasn't worked out. And now is the time when they're really focusing, because they think we're to the point now where we're ready to accept all of this. And I do kind of pose the question. I'm like, it's very interesting when you read what Hatan has to say, because a lot of it is literally lining up parallel with the teachings of Jesus Christ. And so my question would be, and it's not in any way trying to be disrespectful, but say someone way back when met Hatan and took all of his teachings to heart. I mean, that could easily be translated to what we have in the Bible today.
Absolutely. Yeah, because there's been more than one Christ that's come down.
Right. So it just, I don't know. It's fucking weird to consider.
It is. And the thing of it is that it's so easy to get really caught up in that old kind of frame of thinking, which is like honest, don't trust it immediately, right? Like think they're harvesting fear, they're harvesting souls in a bad way, instead of looking at it with love and joy and really just taking in the message in full and trying to understand the concept that they're conveying. If the concept they're conveying is love, don't be so bogged down by your physical and material possessions and the physical world that you live in. I mean, that's everything that Christ talked about.
Right.
Give away all your earthly possessions and follow me and walk in my shoes, and in my footsteps. That it was the same thing. It was just put in another way. So if that's all Christ consciousness, then that's of a higher dimension, of a higher realm. It doesn't mean physically give all your stuff away, or burn your house down. It doesn't mean all that.
Right.
It just means don't have such an affinity and hold on so hard to the way things are now. And honestly, like in the chat earlier, people were saying there is no normal anymore. I mean, I literally do wake up every day and wonder what timeline I've been stuffed into now, because nothing remains the same.
Things definitely feel different from day to day.
Oh, completely.
Like not even like I mean that in all serious. Things feel different from day to day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is so bizarre to even consider those words coming out of your mouth.
Well, and for me, it started a couple months ago. It was real small stuff. Like something would show up that I know I didn't order, or all of a sudden my delivery date got changed. And then I look and it says it's always been that date. And I'm like, no, I know it wasn't. And then all of a sudden I was running out of things quicker than normal, which made no sense because they're not being overused. Like little things, right? And then when they really started to add up and I started to look at everything, and then I had a scar on my face that disappeared, then reappeared, then disappeared again. And it's my face. I look at it every day.
Right.
So I'm gonna notice if something's there and now it's gone and it's been there for 20 something years. So things like that. And I talk to other people, and this is not just people who are into the same kind of woo-woo stuff I am. I'm talking to completely norm people, and they're noticing it. And then other people I know into the stuff we are, they're having their normie friends also bring it up. So if it's to the point where average people who aren't normally into the weird are noticing it, then think of how loud it is for people like myself who are really conscientious.
Yeah.
And noticing it.
Yep.
So yeah. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
I mean, even
love you guys.
Too.
You go ahead, Steve. Did you want to ask something?
I was just thinking about the whole context of the conversation. Even like you said, even people who aren't in like have no interest in the metaphysical or paranormal or anything like that, or feeling it, like everybody's more tired, everybody's more irritable. It just seems to be compounding and compounding and compounding. And it's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely to a point where it's going to come to a head, right? Like something has to change. And it's all I can say is it's very, very easy to get caught up in work and all the things you have to do, and there's not enough time in the day, and to get really bogged down by everything. But try to wade through it, and at least every day do one tiny little thing for yourself or something that makes you happy, just to keep your sanity. And even if that's, you take 5 minutes and you go look at TikTok or whatever, like whatever it is, find your joy. But it really is important because, especially you guys having like families and kids and everybody listening right now, same situations, it's really easy to get bogged down by it instead of realizing we're living in and witnessing one of the most extraordinary times in the world. It's pretty cool.
Hopefully it gets awesome.
It's going to be super duper awesome.
We're
Let's
ready
hope
for
so.
it.
Like I said, 2024, your episodes will write themselves.
That's what's
Yeah,
up.
that ain't no shit.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate you. Love you guys.
Thanks for
Yes,
calling
absolutely.
in, JJ.
And be sure to check out the listener experience that drops tomorrow, because we got some white suit fellows that show up in a dream. So you're going to want to hear that.
Are you guys going to drop it on Patreon first?
I'll try to drop it as soon as I get done after this show tonight.
Okay, because I will stay up and binge listen.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Stay
Thank
safe,
you.
AJ.
Bye. You too.
Oh, yeah. It is exhausting. Converging timelines is tiring.
Well, yeah, naturally.
Naturally. Oh.
One weird thing before I'm done for the night. I just remembered this because JJ was talking about it. And I saw it the other day and I can clearly remember it. I'm curious to see if you remember it too, because apparently it's the opposite now, which I know I'm going to get made fun of. So I'm prepared for that. But actually, Birdie, listen to the upcoming episodes. You might find some cheat codes. But does anybody else remember when we were little? Because some people are claiming this is a Mandela effect. Do you remember when we were younger and they used to teach us that the blood? I'll ask you this, Steve. What color did they teach us back then our blood really is?
Blue.
That's right. That's what I remember.
That's
what I remember.
They tell us that it's blue until like the air hits it or some shit, right?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And now tons of people are saying it's the complete opposite. And everybody in the chat is saying the same fucking thing.
They're saying it's always red, or
Oh, no, I apologize. They're saying it's red the whole time.
yeah, we were always taught that it was blue until like I forget that it was like until the air hits it or some shit like that.
Yeah, that's 100% what it was. That right there. Because when I watched that the other day, I go, get the fuck out of here. Like, I remember being taught that. And it's the same thing. As soon as the oxygen hits the blood, that's what turns it red.
Our veins are blue.
Right. But I don't know.
They're trying to alter.
But they're saying that it's red 24/7.
Trying to alter timelines.
Like, people were making fun of people who thought it were blue. They're like, you guys are really dumb if you think that.
That's what I was always told.
Same.
Always told.
So I was like, I'm 100% going to bring this up on the night shift because I have to know what everybody else remembers and what they were taught when they were growing up.
Yeah, that's crazy. The timelines are converging. The Bloods and the Crips converging. Kendrick did it.
Eric was taught that it was dark maroon.
Oh.
I have never heard that one. See, Daisy, that's kind of where my brain was at, is that it would be blue in the syringe, because I started thinking of bags of blood.
It would be blue.
Because bags of blood are red.
Blood's not real.
I'm with that.
It's just a figment of our imagination. Veins are just structurally blue.
I have no idea. I'm not a doctor.
I'm not a
but I found it really
veinologist.
interesting. Yeah, well, you naturally need to go be one and then make lots of money. But I thought it was interesting enough to bring it up, because I was like, I have to know what everybody else says, because I clearly remember being taught this way.
Oh, Nicholas in the chat. First time here. Got to tell you about the black cube I saw back in April. Yeah, you do have to tell us about that.
Yeah, that'd be
Shoot
a
us
good
an
idea.
email.
Please.
Veins are not transparent.
Life is a simulation.
Yeah.
Those are the lessons you guys are all getting ready to learn. So just keep all that in your minds. A lot of you have been hitting right on par by upcoming episodes. Get ready for that.
Well, they need to
shit.
simulate it and make it cooler.
Yeah. I definitely agree with
Sorry,
that.
Matt. I'm ready for the cool era.
We need that game genie.
Yeah. Dude, I was not to change the subject, right? And we're closing in on 2 hours, so we gotta wrap her up. But
Yeah, I gotta edit.
me and
the
Sarah
show.
went thrifting the other day, just going out and about. I was
Oh, yeah, you got a lucky snack.
so stoked. I did get some official X-Files collecting trading card game, which is dope. But anyway, I found NBA Jam in the box for Super Nintendo. So stoked. I was ready to just drop Bill on it. And
You got a Super Nintendo?
yeah, Sarah does.
Oh,
Dude,
bet.
I was so stoked.
Yeah, James, what's
they go
up?
get it out. Just the box. No cartridge.
That's lame.
Immediate disappointment.
I think we have. Me and Shauna might have NBA Jam for Sega.
I used to have a Sega, but I don't anymore.
Yeah, we have a
NBA
Sega.
Jam.
I'm almost positive we have NBA Jam.
NBA Jam
for
was
it,
one of my favorite games.
which Gage would probably love.
Yeah,
that
you
game.
should look it up for him.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be sick. But anyway, just thought I'd share that because it had absolutely no bearing on what we were talking about, but it was cool, and then it was disappointing.
It's still a good bit of information to
Yeah,
have.
keep your eyes open. There's some diamonds in the rough out there.
If you haven't played NBA Jam, you should probably go give her a try.
Yeah. Like who hasn't played NBA Jam?
Yeah, I know it's got to be few and far between, but
Oh, my partner Bill from work's in here. Our veins blue because it's like a coating, like a candy coating. I don't know. Could be.
I mean, yeah, you're the veinologist, not me.
Nick did send an email. I'm sure you get a lot. Look up Discovery Cube Museum Santa Ana. I will double check. I haven't went through and pulled any listener experiences out for a couple. Well, it's probably been 2 months. I'll go back through and hit it and see if I can find it for sure. But on that note, Holocult, it's getting late. Kyle still got to edit a couple episodes and go to work tomorrow, which is lame. So thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for being weird. We appreciate you all 50 of you just kicking it. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, follow the show. We're only, listen here, we're only 96,000 subscribers behind Merc. Let's try to get it done.
We got some work to do, ladies and gentlemen.
Big homie Merc can get 100,000. we can get 5,000. NES does slap.
Fuck yeah, it does.
On that note, thanks again. We love y'all. Stay safe, stay weird, and just try to truck through all these timelines collapsing and converging. We'll get there. Keep your head up.